Hey, this is JD Frost. Welcome to the Daily Ledger podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. In order to create more focus to reach your goals, you have to eliminate the distractions. How do you eliminate the distractions? You become clear on what the distracting activities are. What are those activities that are taking you away from the daily behaviors that are required to reach your goals? You got to identify those first. And in order to identify those, you want me to keep going through that? In order to identify those, a really, really easy exercise is to go throughout your day and write down what you do every 30 minutes. Like from the moment you get up in the morning to when you go to bed at night. Every 30 minutes, you're going to write exactly what you did that day. And another way of doing that is to write down what you did the day before. What's interesting is when you're actually writing down what you did that day as you're going through it, you actually remember a whole lot more than what you did the day before. But what you'll find when you write down what you did the day before, you'll find that you only remember a lot of the activities that were more liability activities, what I call liability activities, the activities that were not helping you reach your goals. And that might be a little bit complicated, but the idea is you're going to identify more liabilities by remembering what you did yesterday. Like I remember watching Everybody Loves Raymond for like 2 hours yesterday. That was not an activity that was helping me reach my goals. That was a distraction. But for me, in my daily habits and my daily behaviors, I want that distraction. It is a scheduled time for distraction, and that helps me to eliminate other distractions throughout the day because I have that scheduled into my day. So one way to eliminate distractions is to actually have distracted, structured time. That's kind of like oxymoronish. So once you go through your daily activities and you're writing those down, then you want to identify those activities, whatever you're doing throughout the day, every 30 minutes, as an asset or a liability. And why do I use asset and liability? Well, I'm an accountant, for goodness sakes. So might as well, use those terms. So an asset provides a future benefit. Like the definition of an asset is that it provides future benefit. The definition of liability is it is a future detriment to you. It is a future, it's a future obligation that you are going to have to fulfill. So the more liabilities that you have, the more future obligations you have, which is basically not reaching your goals. So how do you identify something as an asset versus a liability? And what we're talking about in this exercise, you have to use your goals as a filter, whether or not that behavior is helping you reach your goal or not. So that's why back in chapter 2, we talked about goal setting so much, because that's where you're creating the filter for your daily behaviors. Is watching TV going to be an asset activity or a liability activity? Depends on what your goals are. If your goals are to be a TV star and you're just starting out, maybe you're trying to learn from somebody. Who knows? It could be an asset activity to you. For me, watching TV is an asset activity because it's my scheduled, distracted time. So when you're identifying these, you want to circle all the asset activities and you want to strike out all the liability activities. You don't want to do those anymore. You want to eliminate those from your daily behaviors. This is all a part of building your daily ledger. I think that someone that is a new entrepreneur, that is easily distracted, that hasn't really written down a to-do list ever before, you're going to be surprised at how much time you spend not doing the asset activities. One of my liability activities was social media. I have to catch myself. Am I just scrolling through social media, or am I using social media as a tool to grow the business? What's my intent with that time? Another liability was when I did not get up and work out during the day. So the dead time of just sleeping or laying in bed, hitting the snooze button, whatever it was, texting, just reading in bed before I get up, that's a liability activity in my mind, because one of my goals is, to live to be 100 years old. So I got to be healthy.
really appreciate you listening to the Daily Ledger podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great day.